We live in a world of lies, deceit, and corruption. Now, this doesn't come from the bottom up, it comes from the top down. We can see this with the politicians. We all know that they're liars. We don't all know that they're all corrupt. So the Supreme Court said that they can have campaign funds. And what do they do with campaign funds? They receive payments for their private benefit with official acts, because no one's donating to their campaign fund without knowing they're going to become possibly a powerful person. Because I don't see people donating to a campaign fund for a guy who's sleeping in a shelter. But the Supreme Court of the United States says that this is free speech. We don't need any of these people. What we need is law and justice. So law actually means no trespassing. When you take a look at politicians, all they do is trespass. They claim that government property is public property, which means that I own a piece of it. And that they claim that they have the right to decide who to exclude, who not to exclude from public property, which is my property. They can exclude me from my property. It doesn't make any sense. It's not law, it's trespassing. Now, if you have a kingdom, it's very different, because now you can see that it's the king's property. Government property is a king's property. So now the king can exclude me because he doesn't have to let me into his property. What they can't do is exclude the king because it's his property. And you can also see how we can stop corruption. To understand corruption, you can understand it simply as a trespass on the king's coercion. So what's the king's coercion? It's official acts. So when a private person is benefiting from official acts, you have a trespass on the king's coercion. More or less, unless you have the king's permission, which is a little bit of a different story. So we need to change the system so that we get rid of this corruption at the top and instead have at the top justice. That means that we have a king who owns the kingdom, and now he has the right to do what he wants with his acts, like you have the right to do what you want with your acts. He has the right to do what he wants with his property, like you have the right to do what you want with your property. And now you can start to get a system of justice. Once you start getting a system of justice, I think you're going to find that a lot of things change. I can't predict exactly all the changes that would occur. But I would think that banking would have to change drastically, because you could not possibly threaten people's reputations unless they wanted to pay, unless they paid. Quite possibly, you'd look at a world where actually corporations would be completely outlawed. And once you have this world of justice, I believe we will find that a lot of pain and suffering will vanish, and peace and tranquility will become a lot more prevalent. Long live the king.